Hello, everyone, and welcome into this special edition of the Accomplished series. Had an outstanding interview with Evan Carmichael, the author of these two books, Your One Word and The Top 10 Rules for Success. These two books are amazing, and I'm going to put links in the description so that you can get a hold to these as well. Did an interview with Evan Carmichael. He is the leader of the Believe Nation. That's his one word, is believe. And what you want to make sure that you do is read this book and discover what your one word is so that you can really laser focus in on what you and your business is all about. And when it comes to the top 10 rules for success, it is a must-have along with your one word in your library. Evan has over 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, which is an outstanding feat. He's a great guy, hopefully, and is becoming a great friend and resource for me and to everyone that watches the Accomplished series. Let's get into the interview, and I'm sure there's going to be nuggets in here that are going to make a difference in your life, in your career, and in your business. Let's get into it with Evan Carmichael. Everyone, Evan Carmichael is here, the Believe guy, today to share with us some amazing tips and strategies to help us all start, build, and grow our businesses the way that we need to grow them. The audience that we have here obviously is mainly voice actors, audio producers, and things of that nature. And I can tell you what, Evan, you have been a tremendous resource for me over the past month since I really became aware of you. And just thank you so much for being here with us today.
It's an honor, man. You've been a great supporter, at least in the past month, and you got on my radar, and I'm happy to be here on your channel.
Well, thanks so much. I mean, we have a friend in common, Cyrus Webb, and that's how I think I was able to drop his name. That's how I was able to get you in to do this. But Cyrus is a great guy. You're a great guy, and completely love what you do. Evan, in both books, I've got both books. The newest one, The Top 10 Rules for Success, as well as Your One Word. And there's a couple of questions I got about each of these books that I think are going to bring some tremendous value to the folks out here. I noticed in reading both of these books, but in particular, The Top 10 Rules for Success, there's something that I keyed in on right at the beginning where you said that these are the most popular, basically the YouTube videos that you look at. Do you have a favorite? As far as from this book, is there a favorite tip or person that you really gravitate towards?
Well, my favorite tip is believe. That's rule number 10. That's my one word. I've got it on my shirt. And of course, love seeing successful people talking about believing in themselves and what they're doing. For a person, that's a tough one for me. I think the only, the people I look up to and respect the most are my parents. They taught me the values. They taught me to believe in myself. My favorite entrepreneur of all time is a guy named E.P. Giannini, but he started the Bank of America. And there's some great stories. Most people don't know who he is, and it seems weird that a banker would be someone's favorite entrepreneur. But there's no video content on him, really, so he's not in the book. So from the people in the book, I think these are people that everybody knows, looks up to, respects: Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, Dalai Lama. It was awesome to see the range of people. I really like that we're able to pull what success looks like to a guy like Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg against the Dalai Lama and Oprah Winfrey and Priyanka Chopra and Denzel Washington, Les Brown. It's like people from all walks of life. And so that was not intentional, but I'm really happy that's how it turned out. Honestly, I pulled something from everybody, and I'm not trying to avoid your question. It's just really tough, really how I feel. There's no one person that I really look up to and want to be like and see myself as the next whoever, but I like being able to pull a little bit from all of these people to help shape me to be the best that I can be.
Absolutely. I'm going to come back to that probably in a little bit here, but with all of the things that you do in regards to the videos that you consume on a daily basis, you and your team to kind of pull all of these videos together, and you produce a tremendous amount of content on a daily basis. it's mind blowing. I mean, 2, 3 in the morning, I'm seeing you post, all through the evening. I'm seeing things pop up on YouTube, on Instagram, which I think is becoming one of your favorite loves now, is building that Instagram following as well. But with all of the people that you are looking up to and that you pull into all of this content, people love this content, but people love Evan. And I'm seeing that more and more, looking at the comments. You are becoming a rock star, and I'm wondering if you're going to embrace more, that people want to hear more from Evan as far as what Evan thinks, or is this just the way it's going to go?
Well, listen, thank you for saying that. That's extremely humbling. So we do 3 videos a day on the channel, almost every day. I think there's one day that we have 2 videos. So that's our light day. It's a mix in the content. So when I do, and this is something that's constantly in flux, I think you always need to be experimenting with your business. Mm-hmm. And if you've been a fan, if you've been watching for the past month, you may not have seen a lot of it. But if you've been, for people who might have watched for years, you'll see that this series has changed. Even the top 10 series, which is maybe the most iconic on my channel, has gone through multiple different iterations.
Sure.
What I try to do, and I think this is a good strategy for people who are trying to build a business, you have the content that brings people in. There's a lot of people who don't know me still, which is an amazingly exciting opportunity. Maybe some of your viewers here haven't seen my stuff before. And so I have content like the top 10 rules that is very little of me in there. Mm-hmm. Because if you're looking for, Les Brown's top 10 rules, you see this video, here's 10 of the best things that Les has ever said. And I like using Les as an example because young Les Brown is my favorite speaker of all time. Young Les Brown is my hero. And so you're here to listen to Les Brown. And so when we do the top 10, it's mostly focused on Les or whoever it is that we're featuring. Mm-hmm. We have 3 videos a day. The other 2 will have more of me in it. We have a series called Espresso, which is a morning video.
Wake up every morning.
Ah, there you go. I like the remix. I like that. I like that. So in that video, there's a topic, and we include a clip that might have a Les Brown clip, for example, and then I'll share my views on that. And then we might have a couple bonuses, and then it cuts. And there's other videos where it's just me, my 7 ways series or my 7 ways to do something. I have my AMA series. I did one this morning. And I'm on for an hour just answering questions. And so I think having a mix is good. We have the content that pulls people in, that they may not have heard about me before, and this is like a soft way to get to know me.
Sure.
And then as they become more consumed in the channel, then they go, this Evan guy is not that bad, until they want to hear more.
Well, one of the things that I think a lot of entrepreneurs and freelancers and things of that nature deal with a lot is depression, and kind of having that motivation to continue on when it doesn't look like there's light at the end of the tunnel. At the beginning of your book, your one word, you talk about a very dramatic day in your life. And the quote that you said in there was, "Danny, I quit." You were basically out of money. I mean, in the book, I'll read from it here just a little bit. "I turned away 6-figure jobs to do my own business and ended up making only $300 a month and not being able to survive." And then the thing that was iconic to me was your response to even your attitude. And you said, "I woke up the next day and asked myself, what do I want to do with my life? If money wasn't a concern, if I could do anything I wanted, if I had no restrictions, what would I do?" It didn't take me long to figure out that if I could do anything, it would get back to my business. How in the world do you think you were able to turn that within probably a 12-hour span from "I quit" to "I'm going to keep going"?
Gotta love Earl, man. He takes me from like you're a rock star to like the most depressing day of my
life.
It's
the dip, man.
I know, man. It's the skills. It's the skills. I love it. I didn't have a ton of self-awareness. That was when I was 19, 20 years old. I didn't have a ton of self-awareness around that time. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I asked myself that question. I remember being so lost that night. It was over some, I think it was Thanksgiving or some kind of family function. I was at my parents' house, and I told my partner that I quit. And just hearing me say those words was shocking because I didn't really quit on things. Now, if I didn't like it, sure, I wanted to quit on piano and I wanted to quit on a whole bunch of other things that didn't mean something to me. But for me to quit on something that I cared about just was not part of what I normally did. And so it was a really, fundamental, earth-shaking moment for me because I wasn't having success, and it wasn't for lack of effort. We were putting in tons of effort to try to make it work, and it just wasn't. I cried my face off that night, barely slept, and I woke up. I stayed over at my parents' house, and I don't know. I just felt like when you feel lost, which I was, like I turned down huge jobs to do this. I felt totally lost. And then for whatever reason, I just asked myself that question of, if I didn't have restrictions, what would I do? And I said, okay, I would want to try to figure this out, because what made me get into that business in the first place was out of regret. I had a situation happen a year earlier in my personal life that made me feel like, you know what, I'm not gonna regret if something comes up. And I have a chance to go for it. I can deal with the failure, but I can't deal with the regret of not knowing.
Not trying, at least.
Not trying and not knowing, right? Like not knowing if it would work. And I felt like I hadn't given it everything. I could deal with it failing. I just felt like there has to be something more that I can try. And that's when I dug deep, found another solution, eventually figured it out. But that day was really rough. So thank you for bringing me back to it.
Well, you're more than welcome. Now, I think it's important, though, because, I do coaching on a daily basis for voice actors. And, I can hear, you can hear the tone in people's voices when they're not confident. They're not sure that this is the thing that they should do. And this is going to take me to like your whole concept of believe. In your book, basically your one word on page 237, you say you have one word. There is one word that defines who you are, connects all the things in your life that make you come alive, and will help you escape the chains of mediocrity. How did you conceive of that one word, believe? Because I do definitely believe that there is one word that defines us all. And how did you develop that believe word for yourself?
So that comes from my parents. They're on the wall behind me when I'm like 8 years old. Okay. That's me when I'm 8. Actually, my son is 8, so it's kind of a weird moment because like we kind of look a lot alike. So looking back on myself is kind of crazy. But anyway, it came from them. They would always tell me that I was Evan Carmichael. I could do anything that I wanted. I remember having conversations around report card season. I would always get B's and C's. My sisters would always get straight A's, and we'd have to have the talk every season. And it was never a negative thing. It was never you need to get better. It was always uplifting. It was always, we know that you're capable of more. We believe in you. And so I mean, that's the message that I still have today. Like that's the message that hopefully comes across in this interview, but in all my content, in the books and the videos, all that too. And so I didn't have it as one word back then. I didn't know, I made up the one word philosophy. I didn't have that as part of my self-awareness at that time, but that's where it came from. I've always gravitated towards that kind of storyline. My favorite movie is Seabiscuit. If you've seen that. It's about this, racehorse that's too small and a jockey that's too big and an owner that has no money, and somehow they all find each other and they win all these races. And I love, like I've seen that movie like 30 something times. Wow. I love like it's a story of belief. It's so that's where it came from. I think it really just came from my parents, and then I gravitated towards those kinds of stories, and then wanted to try to make an impact on others and help them believe in themselves too.
Awesome. Evan, you have over 1 million subscribers on your YouTube channel, which is an amazing feat for anyone to accomplish. How important are platforms like YouTube and social media platforms for the freelancer, for the voiceover artists that we're talking to? Because so many times people are afraid of this technology. But what are your thoughts and your kind of North Star on that whole thing in regards to social media, in particular because of your success on YouTube?
If I was a voice-over artist, I mean, I love your voice. I listen to Earl. It's like the deep tones, and it's awesome.
Wow, thanks.
Like that's a great skill. And I'm sure it's not like there's training that goes with it too. It's not like, hey, you just woke up and you're born with a great voice. There's a lot of work that goes into it. I would first be looking at how could I use platforms like YouTube to collaborate with people who have a channel that I can contribute content for.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd be looking at maybe people doing speeches or animations,
Yes.
or any kind of videos that they need voiceover talent for.
Sure.
And then start working with them. Make an offer to say, hey, I'd love to, even for free, like just get started.
Absolutely.
Right. And if you can produce really good content for them, then they're going to want to work with you again, and they're going to tell their friends, and they're going to give you credit, and you build up your reputation. So I'd be looking at, before worrying about creating my own channel, I would be looking at how do I get on other people's channels. If in the long term you want to build your own brand and you want to showcase your abilities, you can have a channel just as a reel, just as a
sure.
If you're pitching something or say, hey, check out what I can do, and there's 1 or 2 videos that showcase your talents, that's fine. But it's not really a lead magnet. You're
exactly.
You're generating your leads on your own, and then you're sending it to there by email or messaging. But that would be my first step. If I had Earl's voice and I really wanted to get out there and like get more gigs, that's how I would start. I'd be trying to find the channels who need content, who might be able to be great script writers, who might be able to be great animators, but they're missing the voice. Like,
exactly.
It's a skill, right? It's a talent that they don't have, and that you could up the quality on their channel, and get exposure for yourself, and maybe do repeat gigs with them, or you get noticed by somebody else, and you get picked up and you move on. So I would make that a high priority. I think YouTube is a fantastic platform just because so many videos need great voices. It doesn't play as well in a Twitter environment. Instagram is kind of getting there with the 1-minute videos, so potentially.
Yeah.
But YouTube, definitely.
And there are a lot of other things. I mean, you've got people that are doing podcasts. I mean, they're just growing and growing, growing. Everybody needs an intro and an exit for their podcast, and different things like that. And that's been one of the things that I've been able to do as well, is in those mediums, even on YouTube, producing intros and exits for different folks out there. And I love you just did a recent video today, actually, about making connections that I watched about an hour ago. That was just amazing and awesome. Teaching people how to make those connections, whether they're at a live event, online, and things of that nature. And it's things that people, I think, really need to be aware of. I'm not sure why there seems to be such a fear of people to use social media. And I think the older we get, or the older we are, I should say, that older crowd is a little bit more intimidated by getting involved in social media than the younger crowd. Is that something that you notice in your day-to-day as far as an age range from millennials to baby boomers?
So I'm pretty excited because I was born in 1980. And by most definitions, the millennials start in 1980.
Okay.
So like, I'm the grandfather of the millennials.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm like Papa Millennial. I'm just the first millennial. I think that's just in general. Like, as you get older, you get, you don't grow up with stuff. You get stuck in the ways that you were doing it, whether it's social media or anything else. But remember that along the way, like, you didn't grow up learning how to drive a car. You didn't learn up growing how to use Skype. Like, you figure it out along the way. And I think for anybody to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to embrace changes in the industry and acknowledge them as a good thing.
Yeah.
So what do I mean by that? I look at YouTube as an example. YouTube updates their algorithm every
minute.
Sure. Like, they make changes, right? Yeah. And for someone now who has 1 million subscribers, I might be considered one of the bigger YouTubers now. That's painful. Like, I built my base off of how YouTube works, and now they make a change. I need to change, and I don't want to change because I made my success this way.
Right.
Every time I see a change come out, I get excited. Every time I see somebody with 4, 5, 6, 7 million subscribers complaining about it, I get so excited because, like, this is my chance. This is my chance to win, right?
Exactly.
These guys are complaining and slacking off.
That's it.
You stay in complain land.
Exactly.
I'm going to change, modify, and go crush it, right? And so anytime something new comes out, that's your chance to go out and win. You should be. I try to just interpret changes in social media or in ways to get attention as a benefit. Like,
an opportunity.
Great. Like, I may have sucked before, but now everything's a level playing field again. Right?
Exactly.
Like, all of those built-in metrics that used to count don't count anymore, and all of the old guys are getting slow at it. they're not going to be the fast ones to adopt a new thing. So this is your chance to win. And so, I play within a YouTube platform mostly, but I'm getting in the other ones. I'm having some fun, as you said, on Instagram. I would look at any new change in how people are consuming content, because that's like, as a voiceover artist, you're creating content. You're a part of a production to create content. So any way that people are creating content, if something new comes out, I'm excited because that's my chance to win.
Absolutely. Well, as we wrap up here, the last thing I want to add to this is, what is it that you would like folks to know about your country? When I say your country, Believe Nation, obviously. And I love how you constitute them as the Believe Nation. Tell us, what it is that you want us to know about that, and also how folks can migrate to your country, the Believe Nation. How can they connect with you?
So Believe Nation is what I've termed our community, and I took a pause because I'm sad that we're winding down the interview. It's been so much fun.
It is fun.
I wanted to create a place where people are encouraging and supportive and helpful. And I remember how hard it was for me to start a business, and I had no friends to lean on, and I was too embarrassed, to be honest, to tell them that I'm only making $300 a month. I was supposed to be living the entrepreneur dream, and I turned down those big jobs, and I can't afford to go have a beer with them. So I felt extremely isolated and alone. Wow. And what I tried to create, I think this is also why I still I respond to everybody on social. I do my best. Like, you're sending me tweets, I'm making video response while I'm working out. I like trying to help people feel like they're not alone on their venture. Because it's a noble thing to follow the thing that you really want to build, and it's hard. Yeah. If you want to be a voiceover artist, how many people in your family are saying that's crazy?
Exactly.
How are you gonna make money as a go work at Kmart or Zellers or a gas station, or be an accountant, or get a real job. So who's there to support you? And that's what I wanted to create, whether it's myself personally making content or just the people in the community. And so we have, with intention, built a community where there's a lot of support in the comments, and if somebody's super negative or hating or trolling, we'll often block them from coming back. This is not free speech in Believe Nation.
I didn't think I made it. I didn't think I made it until I got my first troll. When I got my first troll on a live stream, I was excited. I even said during the live stream, "Hey, I have made it. I got my first troll. Now I'm here."
Yeah, well, that's part of it. Sure, getting your first hate comment is really painful.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of my channel, when I started getting hate, I always left it up. I didn't care. It's good training. As the bigger you get and the more well known you get, for anybody watching, you're gonna get more haters. We started blocking the most offensive haters, mostly for the community. You could say whatever you want against me, I don't care, but I don't want people to have to come to a community that is full of a bunch of rotten apples.
Absolutely.
So it's a community that's been designed with belief and positivity in mind. So hopefully your viewers will join in. I think if they're on YouTube, that's what I'm most well known for. Yeah. So there's probably a video. What video should they start on, Earl? What do you think?
Let me tell you, my day starts, literally, it starts with you. When I drop my kids at school in the morning, and I punch in, your videos, because I've got them on. I've got the bell notification, so I know when they come. So I'm watching the stuff you're posting at 3 in the morning. So I'm taking my kids to school. I'm watching you, and I'm talking to Cyrus, on the way into the office. And probably one of the best videos that I watch, I love Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher.
Okay.
Love that guy. Big fan of Steve Harvey as well. I think I would be scared to be in the same room with E.T. though. E.T., he's so intense, but I love that guy and his energy. So those videos that you've got, those high energy type of guys and women, are just so appealing to me with that, because I'm a high energy type of guy. So I love that stuff.
Got it. Well, we just did a collaboration with ET. Maybe, I don't know when this video is going live on your channel. It may have already been going up, but he did a shout out at the beginning, a special message. So I think you're going to enjoy that one.
Awesome.
So, for fans of Earl, go check out any ET video on the channel. That's probably a good place to start. And then in terms of the book, Amazon, easiest place to get it for most people.
Yeah. And make sure you do get it. The top 10 rules for success, rules to succeed in business and life from titans, billionaires, and leaders who change the world. And also Your One Word, the powerful secret to creating a business and life that matter. Evan, thank you so much for being here. Looking forward to everything that you're going to be doing. You've got a fan for life, and I'm sure my entire community will be watching you as well. Thanks so much for being here, man.
Thanks for the love, Earl. I appreciate it, man.
Take care. Bye-bye. I'm sure you guys enjoyed that interview with Evan Carmichael as much as I did. But the thing that I want to make sure that you do, well, there's two things. Make sure that you get both of these books in your library right now. And I've got links in the description for both. So make sure you get Your One Word as well as The Top 10 Rules for Success by Evan Carmichael. The other thing that I want you to do is take action. I want you to execute on some of the concepts that we talked about. Make sure that you get your mindset right. Make sure that you're grinding and not quitting. Make sure that you are out there doing the things every single day, no matter what the obstacles are, no matter the challenges, no matter the haters. Make sure that you are executing on your best ideas every single day. Make sure, get the book, Your One Word, as well as The Top 10 Rules for Success by Evan Carmichael. And, as Evan always says, believe.